It is the month of February, and we are working on our missing person cases for this month. Please look into the community chat for additional missing person cases. Throughout the year, people mainly go missing in the months of December, January, and February. 23-year-old Khadijah Rose Britton, she went missing on February 8th, 2018. She still hasn't been seen or heard from since. This isn't just a where did she go or what happened to her missing persons case, because he knows. She knows. They know exactly what happened to her. So everything in this video is alleged and just the opinions of me and probably a whole lot of other people. So here we go. Khadijah met Najee Fallis, who is a convicted felon. She met him shortly after graduating. Fallis has a long criminal history, everything from domestic violence, kidnapping, and drug-related charges. Khadijah and Najee's relationship grew increasingly violent and abusive. Khadijah told her mother that Fallis didn't hit her. More than likely, Khadijah was covering up for him. But Khadijah's mother would soon find out, and anyone who cared about Khadijah would find out. On January 29, 2018, Fallis hit Khadijah with a hammer. She told police and domestic violence counselors that her boyfriend tried to kill her with this hammer. 10 days later, on February 7th, she dropped the charges on Fallis. I'm sure, like many of these cowardly men, she was scared. She was scared not to go forward and with the past actions of Fallis. On February 8th, her family hadn't heard from her and filed a missing persons report. During the investigation, witnesses told officers that on February 7th, the day that Khadijah dropped the charges, she was last seen at her residence being assaulted and forced into his black Mercedes sedan at gunpoint with his other girlfriend, Antonia Batista Dawson. Both Fallis and Dawson were arrested, and the police do believe that Fallis knows what happened to Khadijah, but there isn't enough evidence to hold him or her, so they were released, and I'll tell you about that. Khadijah didn't just leave and go on her own accord and start a new life. The last two people she was seen with know exactly where she is. So, where is Khadijah? On January 11, 2019, almost 1 year after Khadijah went missing, Antonia Batista Dawson, the one who was there that night, was charged with aiding a felon and hiding several firearms for him, and him being Fallis. She was sentenced to 18 months in Mendocino County Jail. She actually wasn't going to receive no time at all, but her failure to appear landed her 18 months. When she was released, she had several stipulations. One was she couldn't have any contact with Fallis directly or through a third party or electronically, but they were in a relationship, and as controlling as Fallis is, of course there will be contact directly. Of course. Fallis, from what I've read, is a man who could care less about rules and regulations unless it is enforced by him. And I'm sure it was all fun and games with Batista and Dawson until he started to knock her around and scare her, like the other women in his life. I mean, why not? No one's special. They can get it too. They spoke over the phone, where Batista Dawson told Fallis that she would help him get a gun when he is released, so he could, quote, come out like a motherfucker, end quote. Apparently, they have to find someone who's running their mouth around their little camp, and Fallis needed a firearm to do this. I did read that Batista Dawson said she has no more contact with him, but I really don't believe that. As long as that woman is alive, I believe he will get whatever he wants and needs out of that woman, and I believe that she will comply. If that's the case, Antonia, Tell the authorities where Khadijah is because you know. You know. But of course, if she was to tell, she'll be right there where Khadijah is. And I believe that she does fear that. The family believes that people do know what happened to Khadijah, but are afraid to come forward for fear of retribution from within the Round Valley tribe community. 6 days after pointing a gun at Khadijah, he was booked into the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office for multiple felonies associated with Khadijah's disappearance, including kidnapping, assault with a deadly weapon, and corporal injury. However, the charges were dismissed. Why were they dismissed? The Mendocino County District Attorney's Office would go forward with the felony charges, the possession of a firearm by a felon, but none of the other accusations pertaining to Khadijah went forward. Now, the charge would stick on December 2018. Fallis was sentenced to 4 years in state prison. He pled no contest to felony firearm charges, but instead of serving 4 years, he was released in 5 months. So on June 4th, 2020, after 4 months of being free, deputies encounter Fallis on a rural Cavallo Road with drug paraphernalia and a stolen handgun and a rifle. So he was arrested. So again, he says whatever the plea is, he's sentenced for 27 months in federal prison, followed by 3 years supervised release. Oh, it doesn't stop there. Instead of serving the rest of the 2 years, he's released in 15 months. So he's back out there again for some more of his shenanigans and nonsense. He sits a while, he's out again. It's a pattern that the Mendocino County authorities aren't tired of yet. But where is Khadijah? He has never served 60 minutes for her disappearance. That no body, no crime thing, it just doesn't exist anymore. Perhaps someone would say something if they believe this man would actually stay his ass in jail and do the sentences that he's supposed to do. I believe that maybe somebody would speak up. But he's always given a slap on the wrist. You can't give someone life in prison and then decide to give them 2 weekends in jail and boom, he's out. I'm just being sarcastic, but it seems that's what's happening here. Why is the disappearance of Khadijah just slipping through the cracks? I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but the indigenous women, a lot of their unfortunate situations, missing, murdered, it just slips through the cracks. And the culprit is normally right there. But no body, no crime, no arrest. There's an $85,000 reward. Relocate. Change your identity. Start a new identity. Let this family have closure. It's been almost 6 years. At the time of Khadijah's disappearance, she was between 5'8" and 5'9". She weighed between 150 and 180 pounds. She has a tattoo on her right arm, Wailaki, Wailaki, and she sometimes is referred to as Dej. She was wearing a black sweatshirt, black t-shirt, and blue sweatpants. I looked on Nagus Fallis' Facebook page. I believe he has a picture of his family up, dated 2023. I believe he has a young daughter. I know if something was to happen to her, he would lose his shit. But you can go around and you can grab someone else's child as if their child didn't matter. Where is Khadijah?